keep that face, please.
Gotta bring in the energy. All right, it's time for the Stephen King Slut Show. All right, coming live to you from Slutopia, and we talk about Stephen King novels. We are starting the illustrious fairy tale, and it is amazing so far. Christy, how are you today?
I'm great. It's the weekend. It was a tough week. But we got through it. And in the meantime, I've been reading Fairy Tale, and it's super good, and I highly recommend it to anyone who likes books and reading.
I would recommend it to anyone who's alive.
That's also true. Yes, I agree.
Thomas, how are you?
I'm great.
Hmm.
I am also reading fairy tales, and I am lying down in bed for this episode.
Are you in a hospital?
I'm in a hospital, on the bed in the hospital. They let
Oh,
me smoke in this hospital.
It's a
Shitty
smoking hospital?
Yeah, they allow smoking. He went to a hospital that hasn't left the 1950s. Yeah.
It's the only way I'd accept the care that I so desperately need. If they let me smoke for it.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I think they actually might be treating him for lung cancer, but I'm just kidding. But they let him smoke.
Statistics say.
Thomas, are you in hospice?
Oh my gosh, are you?
It's what comes after hospital, right?
It could, yeah. If you have a terminal illness, yeah. Or just like really old. Just kidding.
I'm delaying my sponge bath for this. Not to make fun of any elderly people or people that have illnesses. We love all of you. We're all sluts equally.
Especially if I don't know if any of our followers are elderly, but I'm thankful for you if you are. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for being here. Thanks for being old. And thanks for reading Fairy Tale with us. It's so good, guys. It's so good.
It is so good. I'm loving it. Yeah, I don't know. It's just there's nothing bad about it. There's nothing. It's all good. That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
And my appreciation of it, especially at the beginning, is it's such a close story. There's not many characters, and it's not fantastic in the beginning.
Right.
It's just about this boy and this old man and his dog and the boy's dad, and that's it. And it's just riveting. It's just constantly making me turn the page to read what's happening.
Yeah. I think from the first sentence, I was hooked for sure.
Yeah.
Because he didn't even know where to start the story. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, well, I was just gonna say it sucks in even people that don't normally read fiction, because Kelly will tell you, Kelly for the most part will not read fiction at all. Mm-hmm. And I was like, oh, let's just check out this audiobook while we're driving. And that's all it took, and she just got sucked into the story and finished it in a couple days.
That's awesome. I love that.
Yeah.
It's accessible. King, you are a master of writing.
Yes. I was watching an interview on YouTube that he did, and he actually, that's one of his goals is, number one, to scare you, but then number two,
believe it.
Another one of his goals is to make it so that you don't want to put the book down and you're almost addicted to it. So he, in some way, he crafts it so that it's you want to keep going. And I would just be fascinated to kind of like break fairy tale down to the point where you can figure out why it's so addictive and like why you can't put it down.
Yeah. There's something very the way that he has written Charlie, there's something very personal about it and relatable. It's pretty awesome. I love it.
That's a
And
good
I
point.
love
Like,
the
what about
character.
it makes it so gripping? Because it's so normal
Yeah,
at the beginning.
it is. Yeah, because it's just like, I mean, you're hearing about how his mom died and then his dad became an alcoholic. Yeah, it's almost like describing just somebody's normal run-of-the-mill life with some bad spots in there. But somehow he makes that interesting.
And
Like,
I like how he started it out too, where he's like, I don't know where to start this story because I'm not a writer.
yeah, no. Oh, sure, okay, whatever. Just shut up. I loved that though, where he didn't know, you know, from Charlie's perspective, didn't know how to start it. That was really interesting to me.
And again, with the whole like showing you like a little bit of the story, and like we're in this stand, and he was like, you know, that was the last time they saw this person alive.
He
or
does
like,
that a
surprising
lot.
that the dog outlived this person.
Yes.
There's a lot of those moments throughout.
There is so many of those moments. I think that's part of what keeps you going, right? Or it's not the only thing, but it's part of what keeps you interested, and like, because he says that kind of thing so many times, and I'm not even very far in, but it's been in there a lot, and it makes you keep wondering, oh well, why did that? I need to keep reading to find out why. I'm very curious.
And it's always interesting for someone to tell you, or like when Stephen King says like, this is a thing that is going to happen, or this person's going to die, or like, you know, it's surprising that like he's thinking about this because he's going to regret that later.
Right.
Because it tells you the story, but it still like gives you enough room to be surprised for what's coming. It's like just the right amount.
You don't know when and you don't know how, so it is still surprising. Yeah.
Yeah. I think he probably uses so many different methods and tools to keep you addicted to the story, and I would say that's definitely part of it for sure.
Yeah.
Do a lot of other authors utilize that? I feel like they don't.
I've not seen a lot. I can't think of any others. I read a lot without King. I read a lot of mystery. And they don't write it. They don't write like that. Because even a lot of King stories have an element of mystery to them, right? Yeah. It's not like a whodunit story, but you know, it's there's still mystery to them, and he keeps you interested. But just all the ones that all the mysteries that I've read, like they're not written like this.
Yeah. The only other author that I can think of that did that was Tolkien. That's the only other one that I can think of.
Okay. I see. I need to reread some Tolkien because I have not read any since college. So it's been a while. Yeah.
He would usually place those hooks at the very end of the chapter, and it would be very similar, like, and that was the last that they ever saw Frodo, or something along those lines.
Okay. I'd be curious if C.S. Lewis, well, so C.S. Lewis has written all kinds of things, or did write all kinds of things. Oh my gosh. Hello.
Hi,
He's so cute.
Hi, my precious.
Oh.
These are your friends.
His little sweet face.
These are your
oh my
friends.
gosh.
What are you doing? Huh? Hey, hey.
That's so cute.
He's the best.
Yes.
I'm
And
sorry.
it's just him. No, you're good. It's just him now, right? Didn't you say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Yeah,
podcast is now
actually.
about the dog.
Yeah, we've switched gears here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
I
I'm
think one of
sorry.
the things that makes the story addictive is it's relatable and it also makes you
Yeah.
want to relate
Mhm.
to it.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, absolutely.
like I didn't have like the old grumpy person on like the street who everybody thought was crazy who lived in the psycho house. But
Right.
man, would
Mhm.
I have wanted that in my childhood? You know
Oh
what I mean?
yeah.
Like I would love for that. And then to take that a step further for like you to get the opportunity to cultivate a relationship with a hermit or a
Mhm.
recluse that everybody else thinks is crazy and you realize is just like, just another person.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And that like every life has beauty in it and you're the one with the chance to the only one with the chance to see that in somebody's life.
Mhm.
Even if you can't relate to it because you never experienced it, you want to be able to relate to it and you can see yourself in that position.
Yeah.
And I think that
Yeah.
really contributes
Yeah,
to
absolutely.
that quality, that page turning addictive. I like this and I want this.
Right. I mean, I can't like I definitely can't even relate to alcoholism or really addiction of any kind. So I, I can't relate to what he went through, but I know a lot of people experience something like that. And so it is relate even though it's not relatable directly for me or to me, but it's still somehow it's still relatable because it can happen to so many people.
Yeah.
Um and I still feel for him, like what they went through and
Yeah.
um yeah. It's it's great.
I think one of the reasons why it's so relatable and like hooks you in is because it's extremely realistic. Like you feel
Yeah.
like they're both real people, like father and son.
Yeah.
And I really, really want to know how he creates such realistic characters. I'm like, how does he do that? Um,
Yeah.
he must base them off real people, I would assume, to get that level of like authenticity. Um, hmm.
Must. Or observing people in public. I don't know.
I
But
know.
not that you know those people if you're just observing someone. So
Yeah,
you can't get you still can't get quite as detailed like he can. It
I
yeah,
really
know in
does feel
D
like
and
you know
D,
them.
when you make a character, they try to tell you like to pick an ideal and a flaw that are like the core things about your character. So something that's a flaw
Okay.
that kind of defines how you move through the world,
Mhm.
such as like your main goal is to accumulate power, or like you want to get money, or you want to be famous, or as a um, a virtue like you can't say no when people ask for help, or
mm,
Mhm.
your mother died, so you're like always um, trying to cultivate like motherly relationships, and you really value kindness and doing for others. And I wonder if that's kind of part of it, that he like creates these character points to
hmm.
make who his characters are.
Right.
Um,
And
and
they don't
so
seem to stray from their natural inclinations.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
yeah.
like
like they stay
what
true
they
to themselves.
do makes sense based
Hmm.
And
on
and
based on what
for
you know. Yeah.
Charlie,
Right.
it's like, his mom died and then his dad was brought back from the brink of destruction. So that's his like main character drive, that he like knows
Yeah.
he wants to do good and made a promise to God to do that. So when the opportunity arises, like that's absolutely everything that he is. Like that's all of his character motivation. Um, but it's more than that too, because that's not enough to make the character like excellent. And we get to see, all that Charlie goes through, uh, particularly like with the trauma of his mom dying and his dad overcoming alcoholism.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
I think I talked about this before, but like the representation of alcoholism and how it wasn't like some world-ending thing like it could have been, but like his dad was able to like arrest it. I thought that was really great writing. Like it's not always the end of a person. Like like people overcome it and then move
Right.
on with their lives, and their lives aren't centered around like that failure. I think it was very well represented.
Yeah. Absolutely. He was still able to be successful, start his own business, and
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously I have no idea what happens. It's still so early, so.
Where are you in the story?
Um I'm on page 129, which is chapter 8. It's like midway, I guess, through chapter 8. Yeah, it's about midway through chapter 8.
Also, how are you enjoying the art at the beginning of each chapter? 'Cause
Uh,
I love it.
I love it. It makes me think of, for lack of a better term, an old-timey book.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's true. I
Um,
didn't think about that.
yeah, I
Yeah.
don't really know how a better way to describe it, but it makes me think of you
Yep.
pick up a book that was published in, I don't know, the 60s or something, or older, or I don't know. That's what it makes me think of.
My
Also, who couldn't fall in love with these characters? Just look at them,
Okay,
strong and
that
wonderful.
one by far is my favorite so far. Yeah, I love it. They're so cute. A
I
very good one.
I feel like with King, he actually puts pictures in a lot of his books, which is pretty
Yeah,
unusual, right?
he does. It's
Yeah, it
not
is.
he doesn't have it in not in all of his books, but in a good portion of them. Yeah,
Yeah.
he definitely does.
Yeah.
So we
I
know the
know.
Stand has them.
Yep. Yep.
Um, trying to think of
I feel like it's got to be more expensive.
Mm-hmm.
probably,
Like more
I would
expensive to
imagine.
print, more expensive to give money to the artist that made it.
Right.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, there's probably a lot of reasons why it's more difficult to put.
Takes more time.
Mm-hmm.
You got to decide what you want it to be and where it's going to go in the book, and well, these at least are the beginning of every
And you
chapter.
have
But
to have the book written at a pace that an artist can then know what to draw and get it together for the publishing. A lot of artists take forever on their books and they miss their deadlines and stuff, and that's not Stephen King. That's
right.
not how he operates.
Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to think of what other books can.
I can think of a number of fantasy ones, but I feel like that's the genre that's going to have it the most.
Well,
Yeah.
sure. Yeah, definitely. Mhm.
Kind of going back to how he pulls you in and keeps you addicted. I would say another facet is mystery because I could
Yep.
not like I was like, what is in the shed? Like I need to
I
know
need to.
Yeah.
what is in the shed. I couldn't put it
Yeah.
down until
Yeah.
I was like, what is in there?
That's the main driving force.
Yep.
That's the biggest driving
Yep.
force. There's a lot of little underlying ones that you want to find out, right? But the big
Mm-hmm.
one, and he did that on purpose, of course. The big
Mm-hmm.
one is the
Mm-hmm.
shed, and there's so many times throughout where it's like, and I found out what it was, but it was, and I thought it was going to be about the shed, but it wasn't the shed. That wasn't until later, and you're like, no, I
Yep.
need it now.
Yep. Yep.
Need
And
to
it's
know.
so well presented too, because it's not like he's gonna meet this old man, help him out, and he's gonna be like, "Let me tell you my secrets now,
Right.
boy." Like that's not how people work. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
and if you try to
Yeah.
broach a subject someone's not ready to talk about, all you're going to do is take away from your relationship, and it happens
Right.
real quick. And that's why people don't like to have tough conversations because they're hard. So if you try to force
Yeah.
them, like it's either unbelievable writing or like you're going to ruin your relationship with somebody. So like it doesn't
Right.
make sense for him to be like, "Hey, what's in the shed?" Like old man who like is very private and clearly doesn't want to talk about this. Like
Right.
so just the way it develops too is very
Yeah.
honest and true
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
the story.
Absolutely.
Jumping into, it's really close to the beginning of chapter 5, which has a picture of Radar. Wait, is that Radar? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Which I thought that was interesting because it's such a different looking dog than the previous
Yeah.
Radar. Like she looks mangy
Yeah.
and like a mutt, not like a German Shepherd. But then
Yeah,
at the
I thought
beginning
that
of
Yeah.
too.
I think chapter 8, there's also Radar is in that picture too, and she looks like a normal German Shepherd. So I was like, wait, what's happening?
And it's the
What is
same
going
artist,
on?
right?
I I would think so. The art looks
Yeah, the style is the
the
same.
style of it looks similar.
Huh.
But just I thought that was interesting. I kept thinking I was like, okay, we meet another dog now. But then
Yeah,
also
she
she's
really
got
doesn't look anything like the other ones. Because you're right.
yeah,
We flipped to 8, and we already looked at the one with Charlie, and it's very clearly a German Shepherd.
right.
And
And
then
if you
there's this old biddy
right,
who's got like
this
foam on her mouth. Is that what that is?
mangy,
Or is it?
foamy mouthed mutt who's been living on the streets her entire life. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, watchers, this is what we're talking about.
Right. Versus that's not a German. That's just a mutt who's lived on the street its entire life.
Yeah.
Because she was
Yeah.
smoking that pipe tobacco there. That's what it was.
That's
Yeah.
true.
That's
Yep.
what happened.
Just like
Yeah.
Kramer
Look
in
like this.
Seinfeld.
um.
What a
So,
wonderful, infuriating character.
Yeah, I know.
Kramer.
I love
Yeah.
Kramer.
Um. So I think, shoot, like my sense of time is really skewed right now. So I think I talked to Christy about this maybe Monday, but honestly, it could be like 2 or 3 weeks ago. Like I don't even know.
Possible. Stuff has been crazy and flown by. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I think we talked about this week, but I'm really not sure at this point. Um, so I pointed out where he starts finding the paperbacks, and he finds Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. Obviously, that's real.
Mhm.
But then there's this book that he references multiple times. So he keeps referencing this book, and it's called The Origins of Fantasy, and it's placed in the world Matrix Juni, Jungian perspectives,
Yeah,
Union perspectives.
I was pronouncing it. I guess his name is Carl Jung, right? Is that how it's
Jungian?
pronounced? Or is it Carl Jung? Because I don't know.
I think
But I
I
was
don't
saying
know.
Jungian, but I guess if his name is Young, then it would be Jungian, I think. I think it's Jungian.
Jungian?
Just sounds weird.
Yeah, that
It
That's
sounds
sounds
very
not a
strange.
real
weird.
book, though.
So Carl
Well,
Jung is a real person, right? Well, we all know that. But that book
yeah.
that he references is not real. You said, right? When you said you looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was searching on Google for that book for like a good 15, 20 minutes
Right.
because I was like when it didn't pop up on Google, I was like, oh, maybe it's like really rare, maybe it's really hard to find. So I
Right.
just kept doing all these searches for it and it just wouldn't come up. And what's interesting is I don't think it ever gives it an author. So there's never like an author associated with this book. And so Christy pointed out, she was like, well,
You're
if
right.
that book doesn't exist in our reality, maybe it's a book that exists in another reality. kind of similar to
That was so in well, I didn't even look up any I didn't so I knew the other two books that he mentions. I knew those were real, but I didn't realize that the third one was not real. I just kind of by default assumed they were all real existing books in our world. So I didn't know that one was not real, but as soon as he saw all of the stacks of the magazines in that hallway, and they're like, I don't remember, like National Geographic and Time and all that kind of stuff. My first thought was, what if some of those are not from our world, or they're from a different?
Oh, I didn't even think about that. What a cool thought.
What if some of them are Time and magazines and National Geographic magazines from our reality, but other ones could possibly be from another, and he hasn't, it's not like he at any point, at least so far, goes through them and looks at them and to be like, oh my gosh, that didn't happen in history or whatever. Right. And then he comes across the paperbacks and all the novels and books that he has, and I was kind of thought the same thing. And then you mentioned that you looked up that one book and it wasn't real, and I was like, okay.
And that's so cool, because I saw the two that I recognized, and I was like, okay. And of course, the nonfiction book will be real, and I won't know the title to it, and just kind of move past it to find out that was the one that wasn't real is really cool.
Right. Yeah, I was very pleasantly like surprised by that, and I have this theory that Howard or Mr. Bowditch or Mr. I don't all the names that you guys have been coming up with are hilarious. I don't even remember which ones you used, but they've been hilarious.
Mr. Powerditch.
Powerditch. Yeah. It's making me think of Benedict Cumberbatch and all the weird names.
Yeah, exactly.
But it made me think, okay, I have this feeling that he's much older than he actually is, because nobody knows how old he doesn't even know how old he is. He's like, I don't know when I was born. And I have this feeling that he is not from that reality. Like, he exists in a different reality, or that's where he came from, at least. He exists in our reality because he's here, right, physically, but that's not where he's from. Or he knows how to sort of like travel between them. But now that's my theory. But I don't know who this. I don't know that. I don't think his real name is Howard, or Howard. Bowditch.
Interesting.
Like, that's just a name that he assumed.
Especially like when his dad checks him out and he's not able to find anything on him.
Yes,
his dad's like in insurance. Like, he would be able to, if there was something to find, he'd find it. Like,
right. Totally. Absolutely. So I don't know. I have theories. You guys.
I love the scene where he's doing physical therapy and Charlie's in the other room listening to him cuss.
Yeah.
So funny.
Yelling all of these things.
All these horrible obscenities.
Wait, where are you, Thomas?
I've been reading a lot this week since I've been back at the office. I've had a lot of time. So I'm on page like 400.
400?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah, you've gotten really far. Okay. All right. I got some catching up to do. I'm excited.
Christy's like, no, not again.
It's okay. No, it's okay. Well, so that's why I was trying to kind of read ahead when you were, I know you're behind for a bit, Thomas, there, but I was like, I know I got to just keep reading because I know I'm going to fall behind again. But then I was out of town, and then I was afraid that I was getting too far ahead. So I started like another book and finished it, and then I started another book, and then I was like, okay. Oh, wow. And then I was like, oh wait, Thomas has his now, so okay, I should start reading again.
Yeah, I'm tearing it up. It's so good.
It is really, really good.
It gets worse. The sensation of like, oh, I want to see what happens next.
Yeah.
That never stops building, or at least it didn't for me.
No, well, it hasn't for me. I definitely was like, oh, I don't want to stop. I don't want to read it. Like, I want to read. I mean, I do want to read all kinds of books, but I wanted to keep going. So I'm probably going to be doing a lot of reading this weekend. So can't wait.
I think it's cool how King kind of like sneaks those little clues in there where if you do the research, you can get more out of it, like the book that doesn't exist in our reality. Or I also noticed in his other books, like he'll he'll list out an event in history, but then when you look up that event in history, it doesn't exist for like our world, and then you're like, oh wait a minute, what world is this? So it's like he's almost like playing a game with the reader,
Right.
where he's like, I'm gonna put these little clues in there and I'm gonna see if you can figure it out. So it's almost like it's very meta in the sense where he's
Yeah.
almost like playing a game with the reader and weaving it into the stories, and it
Right.
makes it even more addictive because you're like, trying to find those little clues and stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I like it too because I remember like reading up until like about where Christie is and thinking like this is so cool because the only fantastical thing is like a shed, and all it is that there was a weird sound.
Weird noise. Yeah.
But
Mm-hmm.
when you like do that research, like Jeremy said, like there's a lot more fantastical elements about it, like and him not knowing how old he is, like and it's very subtle,
Mhm.
and you do have to pay attention
And
to it.
where is he getting this gold from? Where did it come
Yeah.
from? That's pretty fantastic. Like,
Right?
who just has a bucket full of gold like that, like a
Yeah.
pirate or
Yeah.
whatever, or a leprechaun?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh, I really really liked the when Charlie was taking the gold to that creepy German dude.
Oh, Heinrich?
Yeah.
Heinrich, yeah. And he had this thought where he just kind of felt like Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just sort of was looking up the story, like on his phone one night, and he comes across where the Fee Fi Fo Fum came from, which came from King Lear,
Oh,
and
yeah.
King directly puts it in the book, and I was like, okay,
Oh,
this is cool.
wait,
He
yeah, where
says
where is that?
it
Is that
was
chapter
on
7?
it was on page, I know I didn't read it too long ago. It's on page 112. So he
Okay.
looks up and he finds all these different versions of Jack and the Beanstalk, but he finds a Wikipedia page about it where it's a lot more, I guess, violent compared to your classic children's fairy tale.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it makes a reference to where Fee Fi Fo Fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman comes from, which comes from King Lear. And a character in that says, Child Roland to the Dark Tower came. His word was still Fi Fo and Fum. I smell the blood of a British man. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool.
So that's like another clue. Like he's putting it
Oh
right
yeah.
in there. Like,
He's
hey,
feeding
this
it to
ties into the Dark
you.
Tower. Hello,
Right.
like I'm literally saying it.
Right. And then so going with the whole he's constantly trying to kind of scare you,
Mm-hmm.
which is absolutely true. Right after that, he says, and something else I don't remember from any animated cartoon or little golden book, the giant's sleeping chamber is littered with the bones of children. The giant's name gave me a chill, deep and premonitory, Gog Magog, and like that, just the way it was written too, it's just like Gog Magog on its own line, and then it ends like
Mm-hmm.
it gave me a chill just to read it. And then like the next page over, Howard was like, in the Bible, Gog and Magog are the warring nations of the world. Did you know that?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, oh my gosh, it's so cool.
It's cool that he
And
could do that too, and it wasn't even a page turn.
Right. Yeah. It was great.
it it kind of reminded me of The Stand, where it's going back to those like very biblical, like, references and stuff. Like, obviously in the Bible it's Gog of Magog, but he just kind of like, changes it a little bit. And you see those like Christian themes kind of like pop up like over and over again, like in so many of the books.
Right. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I had to point that out. That was interesting.
And I like
I'm
that
also
the bad guy, like in those thoughts of the story of Jack and the Beanstalk, like is compared to a religious bad guy, if that makes sense. It gives it like a weight that like the other things that he's thinking about don't have yet. So it's the first thing that's like, oh, this is like serious and creepy.
Mm-hmm.
I like that he used religion and like scriptural baddies to create that like fear of horror scape.
I like that
Mhm.
scriptural baddies.
Scriptural baddies.
Hmm. Interesting.
I also just a very small little thing I wanted to point out. I enjoyed that he referenced his own book twice that I noticed, but he references Cujo. And I
Yeah,
was like,
Oh yeah,
I
I
was
haven't
like,
read
yeah.
Cujo, but I was like,
I've never read it either, but I've seen the movie. It's been a really long time though. Um, and I just was like, that's cute.
I mean, when you got the amount of swag and publication that
Yeah,
Stephen King does, like, you might as well.
yeah, absolutely.
And not only does he reference, like, it's the characters referencing it.
Well, obviously, yes. It's Charlie thinking about it because he's referencing how when Radar was much younger and his friend kind of hopped the fence or whatever, and then she came after him, like, and I think he says
Yeah,
like Cujo basically, and so obviously
yeah.
it's Charlie referencing Cujo, but King had to put that thought into his into his
Right,
character's
right.
head, and I was like, I like that. It's clever. It's cute. Enjoyed that.
What about this image from chapter
Um,
9? Wait,
yeah.
what
He's
is that?
got he's got a revolver, y'all.
That looks like it's from the Old West.
It
It does.
does. I
I
mean, I
might
think it even
describe it as a
says.
gunna.
Oh.
What
Yeah, it
what
says
could
he has a revolver.
that's very uncommon for like some guy to have in our modern time.
Right. If you find a gun in somebody's house, one, they probably have it for some sort of safety reason, which Mr. Bowditch does. Um, and it's either like, you know, an automatic handgun or
Right, right.
or a rifle or a shotgun or something.
Hmm.
Not a
Hmm.
revolver from the Old West.
I I feel like King really tipped his hand by doing the Dark Tower quote. Like he's literally like throwing it in your face, like
When I got to that, I was like, oh, he's pushing this
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
right
He's,
now.
he's like very hard, very hard.
I loved it, but it also like kind of made me giggle.
Yeah, yeah. He's like he I've made this association before, but King very much feels like the Riddler to me, where he loves placing these
Yeah.
little clues for Batman, but like he's not satisfied and he's not happy until you like figure out the clues. So sometimes he kind of throws it in
Hmm.
your face.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he very much has fun, like
Hmm.
good fun, kind of playing with readers.
Yeah.
Not in a sense where he's like trying to be better than his readers or make fun of his
Hmm.
readers, but just like he's having fun
Yeah.
with them because it makes him happy, but also the readers enjoy it.
Right. Right.
Because
Yeah.
I love it. I
Hmm.
could see that. Yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Hmm.
What else do we have?
What is?
Let's see. I know. Okay, man. See, I always tell myself I'm gonna take good notes so I can talk about these things that I come across, and then I just get so into it, and I
That's
don't
the
want to
thing. I
stop.
didn't take any notes on this one because I just kept
Yeah.
reading it.
I don't, and that's the same thing with looking up like the books or the references, something that happened in history or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the time to research it or write it down or make note of it because I just am loving it so much. I don't want to stop reading it and stop and put it on pause for even a second. But I know I had other things that popped up.
Huh. When you guys see my notes for the drawing of 3, you guys are gonna laugh so hard. They're
Is it
Yeah.
intense?
Oh, I mean, I need to go get that one. I'll go
I
this
just came
weekend.
in the other day.
Yay.
That's what we're reading next, right? Did we discuss that already?
I think I don't know that we officially discussed it, but I think that I guess I assumed that that's what we're reading next, and I'm totally fine with it.
I don't know that I have to read it. Like if we read something else, that's totally fine. But like I'll just read both at the same time.
No, I want to read Drawing of the Three next. Absolutely.
I do as well. I am fully on board, so
Nice,
I'm more than
nice.
okay with that. Man, okay. I wanna find other things that popped up into my head. And now I'm kicking myself that I didn't write anything down.
Yeah, I thought I took better notes on this one too, and like left but better bookmarks. But I just got to chapter 10, and I was scrolling through it again, and there was like something really huge and like major that I talked to Thomas about already, and I never left the
Yeah.
bookmark on it, and I'm like, why did I do that? I think Thomas knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
Well, I'm close,
Also,
so that's for sure.
when he leaves, what was it, baseball practice, and he tells the coach no.
Yeah.
And I wish I had ever had the balls to do that to a
Oh
teacher.
yeah, I
Like that's
never
another thing that like
did.
I wanted to relate to.
That was
Like
Yeah.
it was a great feeling though. I was living vicariously through him.
yeah.
Cuz I was a very like, you know, obedient child.
Are
So I never would have had the guts to do something like that ever.
are we all like people pleasers that like always
I
listen
know
to
I
authority?
am.
Yeah, I mean for the most part, I don't know. I don't like disappointing people, but then I have moments where I'm like, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that.
I've become better as I've gotten older
I have
about like
too.
maintaining my boundaries and like learning
Yeah.
how to say no or being
Yeah.
willing to like go back and be like I said yes but I didn't mean it.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. I'm not to say that not trying to say that I'm a pushover cuz I definitely don't want to be and am not, but yeah, I don't know. There's you gotta pick your battles. That's how I feel. You gotta pick your battles.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the most part, I always want to make sure like people are happy, like, most
Yeah.
of the time.
Yeah, that's how I feel. I'm not big
I
into conflict in general, so usually I'm like, okay,
Yeah,
there's conflict, let's get it out of the way and move on.
move on. Yeah, like let's just get past it.
Mhm.
I also found it really interesting, and it shows you kind of the mettle that Mr. Bowditch has when Charlie finds him behind his house injured when that relationship starts, and he says there's money in the flour jar, and then he says, "Wait,
Yeah.
no, belay that. There's no money in there." But there was.
But there
It shows
yeah.
his because at first I was like, oh, interesting. What did he spend that money on? Like, what happened to it? Is that going to be an aspect of the story? But no, it was like an aspect of how good Mr. Bowditch is at like keeping secrets and kind of holding to that standard of secrecy that he was willing to like trust, and then he immediately takes it back. But also Charlie
Right.
never goes and looks, which I thought was also very cool.
Yeah, I was thinking the
But
same thing. I was like, you're so responsible.
and it was a cool story red herring because I really expected to find out like, oh, he had to dip into his funds. Like there did used to be money in there, but he had to use it for some reason and didn't think about it because he was injured. But it was really him debating with himself how much he can trust this kid and going back
Right.
on it.
And the fact that, he's like, don't snoop. And, he had some moments where, I can't remember specifically what he was doing. It was, very early on, but I think it was maybe he looked in one of the other tins that had like cookies written on it, and he was like, surely this doesn't count as snooping. And he like
But there's
fed
another thing
ate
too where
some
he's
and
near some jackets and he like thinks about looking in the pockets and he doesn't.
right.
If I remember correctly, because Charlie's just such a good boy.
Yeah. And the fact that he really didn't like he looked in the cookies jar, but that was about it. He could have just explored that entire house and looked around, but he didn't until Howard was told him to go get the gold from the safe that was on the second floor. Because I think Howard was like, have you been up there yet? And he was like, no.
Yeah. And he says, well, now's your chance.
Yeah. And I feel like most people would have been like, well, I'm just gonna go explore this house because it's the Psycho House. It's famously known by so many kids who live in that neighborhood as the Psycho House, and so everybody like, what is it? What does it look like? What is it like? Even Charlie's dad is just really
Oh,
curious.
yeah. I forgot that he asked about it, too. Yeah.
Yeah, he is a good kid. He's a great kid.
Charlie's such a good kid.
He's a
Wish
good
I had
boy.
been half as good a kid as Charlie was.
Yeah, I tried
I
to put myself in that situation. It was like, I usually try, like if somebody has said to like promised or put some trust in me like Howard has and Charlie, I usually try to kind of fulfill those wishes of theirs and keep that trust because trust is like is super important. But I was also thinking it was like, but would I look around just a little bit more than Charlie did? I don't know. Would I
It,
maybe I would like maybe I
I
would
feel
look
like
through those
it would
magazines
have
or
been
something.
hard.
It would have
I
been
know
really
I
hard.
would have. I'm so nosy.
I'm pretty sure I would have snooped around. I don't think I would have gone into things, but I would have walked into every
Yeah, I
room that
wouldn't
was
have
unlocked.
opened like I wouldn't have opened up. There's like the classic movie thing where people go to like they're in other people's houses and they like look through the medicine cabinets or the cat or like the cabinets under the sink or whatever. I'm like, okay, I know I wouldn't do that. I know when I've been in other people's houses, I haven't done that.
That reminds me, when y'all came over, I talked to Justin. I was like, I want to put something somewhere so that if like anybody sees it, like they'll want to talk about it, but they'll also have to admit that they looked.
That they
So there's
snooped.
a big stuffed wishbone dog under the guest bathroom, like under the sink.
Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. Yep, I did not see it.
Well, the next time you all come over, you can look. It's there.
I will look. Next time I will look. So I can find it there.
I'm gonna do that too. I'm gonna put like
That's hilarious.
anti like schizophrenia medicine like on the counter, like see if you
Glue
guys
a
find
Furby
it.
like
And I'll be
upside
like,
down somewhere.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I don't know.
I
I don't think I would have explored the entire house, but I probably would have like just looked around, maybe just on the first floor or something.
mhm, mhm.
Yeah.
Um, another thing. So I finally tracked down that part that Christy was talking about, where it's like fee fi fo fum, and I think it's kind of it feels like foreshadowing because obviously Mr. Power Ditch has all that gold, and then he says Jack basically steals gold stuff, coins, a goose that lays golden eggs, the golden harp that warns the giant.
Yeah.
It then goes on to say, I don't remember. Oh, and something else. I don't remember from any animated cartoon or little golden book. The giant sleeping chamber is littered with the bones of children. The giant's name gave me a chill, deep and premonitory, Gog
Yeah.
Magog. But okay, so if this is our reality though, if this is the reality where Stephen King exists, Cujo exists, this is our world, but I don't think in any book the giant's name is actually Gog Magog, right?
I didn't think so either. I'm glad you researched that.
I don't. Well, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't research it, and so I guess okay. So when I came across that, I was thinking kind of the same thing. I was like, well, I don't ever remember in like the children's fairy tale the giant ever even
Yeah,
having a name, much less that name.
right.
But then I was thinking, but there are many versions of classic fairy tales because I mean, think about like Hans Christian Andersen, who got all of his fairy tales from just from villages that he visited in like
Yeah.
Germany and I don't know what other countries. And they all had their own fairy tales, and some of them were similar, but they had their own versions of them. And Hans
Yeah.
Christian Andersen just kind of like pieced them together. And actually, a lot of his are um more violent than still
Mm-hmm.
your even classic children's one, because I mean his are classics, but then Disney got their ideas from Hans Christian Andersen and created their own stories out of it and sort of picked pieces from it. So I was thinking, okay, well maybe maybe that is the giant's name, but in
An
just
obscure, like,
in
side
a
story.
version of that
Yeah.
story, but I actually didn't look it up, so I didn't know.
I I just Googled it again. So apparently there was a giant named Gog Magog in like
Okay.
an older an older story,
Hmm.
but it's definitely not Jack and the Beanstalk.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Huh.
So I wonder if he's trying to imply yet again that that version is not necessarily from like our world. Like I feel like he talks about Cujo because he wants you to know like this is our world. Like Stephen King lives in this world. You know, this is our reality.
But he was looking, but when he found the name of the giant, he was on Wikipedia. Like he was on the
Oh,
internet.
is okay.
Yeah,
Maybe
he
we'll
says go back to it. Because he
I
was
feel like it
thinking
does
about the
explicitly say Wikipedia.
he was thinking about the little golden books that like his
yeah.
mom read him when he was growing up, but then he went on his phone on the internet to just look up the story in general, and he says
Huh. I probably read it
the
wrong.
original, oh, it says the original story, courtesy of Wikipedia, was a lot more bloodthirsty than the one I remembered. For one thing, Jack is living with just his mother because the giant has killed his father during one of the giant's many rampages. And then he sort of goes on to, you know, the story and does a quick overview of it. And then that's where he comes across the King Lear part, and then at the end, that's when he names the. So I mean, I guess I assumed because he was talking
Hmm.
about the original story, courtesy of Wikipedia, that he read that on
Ah.
Wikipedia. So he read that on
Oh,
the
okay.
internet. So maybe his world is not our
Yeah,
version.
like it's very similar, but it is just another
Yeah,
it is just
it's an
another like
extremely similar
multiverse.
one, maybe. Yeah, like Cujo exists,
Oh,
and
okay.
maybe that's why that other book exists then,
And
that
you
doesn't
know who
exist
never read a
here.
book in this world? Wesley.
What?
Huh.
I said, you know who never wrote a book in this world? Wesley.
Oh yeah. Or any of them. Yeah.
Or me.
It's true.
Stephen King jokes. Nice.
Another cool thing is most of the Stephen King books that I've read are, pre like 2000, if not earlier, pre like 1990. So this is the
Yeah.
first Stephen King book I've read where it's truly modern, where this kid has the internet on his
Yeah.
phone, and
Mhm.
that's super relatable. Like, even though I didn't, smartphones weren't a thing until I was like middle of high school, or like when I just went into high school. Um, that makes it super relatable too. And I
Yeah.
really like when you can craft a fantasy and still have modern technology in it, because that's a hard thing to do. Like when all of the world and all of the people you know are an instant away on your phone, it's very difficult to create a fantasy scape that doesn't get broken because of that. Being able
Right.
to snap a picture of something or call somebody and verify something. Um, so props to Stephen King. It's really refreshing to see a good actual modern supernatural experience.
Right. Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
Oh my gosh. It looks like you have a little furry table in front of you.
Or like there's
Yes.
a bear in
I
front
know.
of you, and like it's the GoPro like behind the bear's head.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Ooh, actually, yeah.
He's a furry table, and I
He is.
can use him to eat super gross ramen.
Did you eat it at the office or did you eat it when you got home?
Oh, so I got home
Okay.
and I was like, oh, I'm probably gonna get hungry during the book club. Here, let me warm this up real quick, and I'll eat it real quick, and then I'll be ready for the book club. And like I sipped the broth, and I was like, this broth is weird. Like what's going on with this? It kind of tasted like dirt that had been sitting in a gutter, and then and then, but no, but it got worse because then I tasted the noodles, and you described it as chewy. So I was like, oh, it's gonna just be a little bit of chewy, but
Oh,
it was more like chalk that had like congealed or something. Like,
weird. Okay, so when I was making it, I was just boiling the noodles and then
uh-huh.
I drained the water and then squeezed the little packet on top and like mixed it all up. And so it was just like
Oh,
saucy noodles. At least that's what
yeah.
I think that's what the package had said. So that's what I was doing. It still did not taste good and then the noodles were chewy. And I think even on the box or the package it says they're chewy noodles. And I was like, well, these are
It
definitely
says,
chewy,
this is
but
a very good.
it's throwing me off.
I
Oh
have a
man.
question. Were they given out under the advertisement of like, hey, try these noodles that suck?
I
Because
mean,
if they were, I didn't realize that. I was like, oh, ramen, delicious.
no. Okay. No, that's actually a very good question. That was not my intention. So I bought those at Costco a while ago. Um, and there is a ramen that's actually a soup
Oh,
at Costco that I really like. And so, but there's a ton of different ones at Costco that you can try. So it's like, I'll try this one now. Um, so got that one, tried it a few different times, and I think I ate it 3 or 4 different times, and each time I was like I had to force I hated it so much I had to force it down, and I was like gagging. I did not like
oh,
it.
oh
Um
no.
I
Is it
kept but
just
I
like
would
Bo coming in the room, just like seeing
uh,
you, like, and
I
you
mean,
just leave?
basically, I kept telling Bo, I was like, "This is not good," and I kept like adding stuff to it because it just comes with like the packet, and I was like, "I hate this
Yeah,
flavor. This flavor's awful." So I
yeah.
would add like sriracha or like
Mm-mm.
I don't even know what else. I don't think I added soy sauce because I think it already has soy sauce in it. But
Mhm.
um and I kept trying to just add crap to it, and it could not mask that flavor anymore, and
From
Can't fix
I
a
couldn't do
my
broken
it.
noodle.
my perspective was really funny because like I just get up and I'm like, let me go to the break room. And I'm like, do, and I look over and there's like a giant box of
Yeah.
ramen on your desk, and I was like, what's up with this? Like, are you gonna
I
eat all these?
forgot to take it to the kitchen that morning when I came in.
Yeah.
But so my intention was, okay, well, I don't like it. Surely somebody will, and I'll just bring it to work. We have ways to boil noodles and whatever, and we have bowls. So I'll just take it to work and put it in the break room, and somebody will eat it. But then all of you were like, "Oh, ramen," and I was like, I mean, please take some. Like, you may like it. Maybe it's just me. I don't know, but
No, you have normal taste buds. You are like, I tasted it and immediately threw it out. I was like,
yeah,
oh no.
no,
Oh no.
that's fine. Please throw it
Oh
out.
no.
I debated. I am not one who, if I don't like something, I'm not one who will just like, well, I don't like this, and it's barely been. It's just it would like I just opened it and I'm gonna throw it in the
Yeah.
trash. Like I'm either gonna
Yeah.
suffer through it and eat it, or I'm gonna give it to somebody else who typically that doesn't usually happen because if I don't like something, typically he's like, oh, I'll eat it. It's fine.
Mhm.
But this was like I knew Bo wasn't gonna eat it. I don't think he tried it at all, but he wasn't gonna eat it. So it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I don't want to throw it in the trash because it's such a waste of food. So it's like, okay, well, I'll just bring it to work because surely somebody will. I don't know.
When I get in Monday, I'm just gonna throw them all in the trash because I
There's
want to save
actually
it.
only one package sitting in the break room.
There's one on my desk. You can throw that one in the trash or give it to me.
It is so bad. Like,
It's
Did
pretty
I tell you
rare for
guys the story
me.
about the chocolate milk?
No, but now I need to hear it.
Truncate it. So Justin and I went. I can't remember if it was a wedding or role playing at a friend's, but he was driving, so I got more drunk. Which I'm not like a big drinker, but I got pretty good. And I was like having a great time. And he's driving us home and stops at a gas station to buy cigarettes, and he also buys chocolate milk. And comes out, and I'm like, ooh, chocolate milk. And so we're like driving down the road, and I sip it, and I'm like, that's weird. That tastes like orange juice. Why does it taste like orange juice? And I'm like pretty drunk, so I'm like,
Even
sip it
better.
again. Maybe it's because I had so much white wine and my taste buds. And Justin's like,
off?
chugs his and he's like, oh, chocolate milk, so fucking good. Like throws the like empty canister like into the back of the car. Like, rock on. And I was like, mine tastes weird. He's like, yeah, mine was delicious. I was like, yeah. And some time goes on and I sip it again just a little bit and I'm like, yeah, it tastes like orange juice. And he's like, so you're not gonna drink it? And I'm like, no. And so he grabs it, and I'm like drunk, so I don't know if it's bad or if I'm crazy. And he like sips it and just like stops what he's doing, and we're luckily like stopped like at a stoplight and like rolls down the window and like throws it outside. We littered and like spits it out, and he was like, "That was bad. That was really bad. Why didn't you tell me?" I'm so sorry.
oh
I didn't know.
I was too drunk to tell you.
I'm just imagining you like, or Justin just like this, and he's like
rolling down. Yeah, that's hilarious. It's pretty.
Drink sour milk because of me.
I was okay, so I definitely thought, at least when you started the story, I thought you were going to say that he just accidentally grabbed orange juice.
No.
That's why it tasted like orange juice, but no, it was just bad milk. Gross.
Ugh.
That's so bad.
Like stiff.
You keep,
That's
but you
odd.
you keep sipping though. Sip again.
I just wanted to know. I wanted to have chocolate milk, not orange juice.
That's so gross.
Yeah, it was bad. And I'm sitting there now, like trying not to let my stomach turn because like psychology was messing with my drunk. Because I'm like, oh no, I know I've swallowed sour milk now.
Yeah.
I'll be okay though.
It's bad. Did we lose Jeremy?
Yeah.
What happened? Oh no. Is he frozen?
Jeremy,
you are frozen.
tickle his chin. It's not working.
He's not laughing or moving. Oh no.
Should we end it? I don't even know if it's still recording.
Oh, actually, that's a. Oh, I didn't even think about that because he's the one who started
it. I see a blue
it.
bar around yours and not around ours.
Like a box.
Yeah.
Oh, I think that happens when it happens when you start talking.
Oh, when you speak. Okay.
Yeah. Where did he go? I think it's still recording. Yeah, I think it's still recording. But he is frozen. Did he die?
Where'd he go? I'm so not used to using it on my phone. Chat, there we go.
Maybe oh geez. Oh no!
Is he messaging you?
Yeah, he said I ran out of power.
Oh no! I guess that's it, folks. That's all you get.
Wait, I don't know if I can.
Can we end it?
We can end it. I hope not either. Oh, he said he's coming back in. Oh, he's coming. Okay. I was gonna say we can end the meeting, but I don't know if that would how that would stop the recording.
Yeah.
It'd be so strange.
I'm so sorry.
It's okay. You're back though. But all of a sudden you were laughing, and it was just stuck on you laughing, and we're like, wait, what happened? Where did my camera go? What happened to my camera?
I don't know. I ran out of power.
Oh, there we go.
Apologies. Okay. My apologies.
That's okay.
I want to be Dr. House for 1 minute.
Okay.
Your mysterious headaches and migraines, was it at the same time that you were forced to eat the bad ramen?
No, I stopped eating those long ago.
No. Okay.
Yeah, we probably bought them 3 months ago, and I haven't. Yeah, I haven't eaten one in a month. So I was like, I give up on these, and then I was like, I'm gonna take these to work, and then I kept forgetting to take them, and then finally I did today.
I thought there might be a correlation since they're basically
that
poison.
that would be that would make sense. But it was not. That is not the case.
I thought
I don't even know what happened because after I think it was 3 days in a row that I woke up with a migraine last week, and then Thursday came along, and then Friday came along, and I was fine. And I was fine every day after that. Thursday and Friday I was fine, and then after that I've been fine. So it's very strange.
Person resolved.
Yes, agreed. I had to reboot my brain many times. And then it was fine.
Okay. Gotcha.
After this, I'm gonna go reboot my brain.
I might, yeah. I'm probably gonna go eat dinner, and then we'll probably reboot my brain on the couch.
Nice. I think that's the perfect way to end this episode. We will all go reboot our brains.
Reboot brains.
How we do that, that's up to you.
There are many ways. I don't know.
Be careful what you say since we're on it's company teams. How you
reboot. That's true.
Right.
I'm really just
reboot tactic.
I'm really just talking about sleeping for me, so there is that. There is also that.
Okay. All right, cool. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say? Anything?
I did not. We went on a ramen tangent for a while.
Yeah, but that was the best part of the episode.
No, I very much enjoyed it. I was actually thinking when I was coming home, I was actually thinking like we needed to address the ramen in our meeting today.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we did.
Mm-hmm. It wasn't chewy. It was like
I like that yours was not chewy. It was like
it was
chalk in noodle form.
yeah, like it would suck the moisture out of my mouth. Like it just
How rude. Like
So
compressed
weird.
baby powder.
Yours
Yeah.
sounds, I'm not gonna lie, yours sounds far worse than what I had.
It just turned into
And mine was
powder.
pretty bad. Mine was very bad.
I feel like I have to try it now. Like
I think you
on
need
Monday at the
to.
office, like I gotta give it a
I
go.
really think you need to try it just to have that
Oh, I
experience.
should try and record it. That'll be our first short.
Oh.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's a great idea.
Yes. Eat the bad noodles and we'll record it and put it up as a short and be like,
I'm very excited about this.
yes, yes. All right, cool. All right, everyone, reboot your brains. Bye,
Stay sweaty.
subscribers.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.